made it back in
What's
time.
up with
Yeah.
it? Yeah, we in there like swimwear. What's
I don't know.
happening?
I might need my glasses. Who knows? My eyes.
Oh, can't even see no more. That's from
I just
staring
woke
at.
up. My
That's from
eyes
staring
like
at all them touchdowns that was taking place at Rams Stadium. You know what I'm saying?
it was not even no game like that. Let's not act like it was some Cowboys game. It was not. It was not no game where touchdowns was just riddling all over the field
I
against the Knicks.
mean,
Let's not do
I
that.
mean,
Let's not do that.
I'm
Rams
just
ain't my
saying.
team, but I'm not gonna discount the performance they tried to do on Sunday against y'all. And y'all
They,
y'all
they
really,
tried,
really, really almost
but
was done.
it really was like a home game, though. I just want you to know that
No, y'all just
because
went to where the tickets were cheaper.
hey,
Wait,
if you ain't frugal, I don't know what you're doing. You're supposed to get them
let's keep
cheap.
it real because the tickets for sure is cheaper at Ram Stadium than it's gonna be at there.
And see, this lines up with the topic for tonight because I guarantee you, as kids, we didn't know going to a football game was going to cost that much money.
Yeah, we
We
did.
just know, Mama, can we go to the football game? We want to go.
And we went.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It was a lot of can we do stuff and not knowing the price tag that came with it, and
fact.
that's literally and figuratively. You know what I'm saying? Like everything in life, and especially as an adult, we realize it has a price tag attached to it.
A
You
nice
got to
Cost,
pay something.
cost some money.
Yeah,
everything in life ain't free, and we as kids definitely just
We
knew all we needed to do was grow up so we could get the things that we want.
that was
now
the
I was spoiled because I thought we had money, so I thought everything I could get when I wanted it. But yeah, life will change on you real quick.
Being
I was
an
pretty
adult in the
spoiled too.
ghetto.
Yeah, I was pretty spoiled too. So
Yeah,
I didn't like old folks say you don't understand the value of a dollar. I didn't because I was just asking for stuff, and I know if my parents didn't get it, I could go to my grandparents and they get it, but somebody was gonna get it.
Oh, you
yeah.
So
know,
I didn't understand how much stuff cost because I was just out here spending other people's money willy nilly.
I wish I was when I
OPM.
was 12. I got my own first phone. I got my own. Like I was none of that. None of
Nah,
Right.
that.
nah.
So
I didn't buy my own first anything.
none of that.
Like,
I,
hey.
Yeah, I was getting everything from my parents. I ain't gonna even cap. Like
Mm.
I just was asking, and sometimes I had to wait. There wasn't an instant gratification a lot of times, but it was purposeful, right? They made me wait on purpose because they didn't want me to be, I guess, too spoiled. But yeah, I was pretty spoiled.
Spoiled is spoiled.
Yeah,
Spoiled,
yeah,
spoiled, and
yeah,
spoiled, right? Yeah, okay.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Semi spoiled. I don't know. I just
No,
know.
I think
You
it's
know.
levels to it. It's levels to it because I
I
had some
spoiled myself.
friends. I had some friends that was spoiled, like literally everything that they
Yeah.
requested, like their parents would get him. My parents wasn't like that, all right? Like it was certain things. Like I think the first thing I actually purchased with my own money that I can recall, especially when I started working, was like music, like going to Sam Goody or something like that, buying
Right.
CDs. Like I bought
Yeah.
Ready to Die, Notorious
We
Big was
old
my
man. You
first.
got it from Blockbuster or something, huh?
Nah, I went to Sam
Wow.
Goody. I went to Sam Goody on the day it
Mhm.
released, and bought it bought it straight off the shelf, man. So
He probably walked out with his chest out and everything. He
yeah,
said,
had my little bag, you know what I'm saying, and
You know what
everything.
I'm
So
saying?
he's
Got his
in
receipt.
that
Thought he
good
was,
walk.
yeah.
I felt proud of my purchase, you know what I'm saying, and the fact that they didn't card me or ask me for ID because it was parental advisory label on it. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
everything.
I felt good. I felt good.
Not
You know what I'm
getting
saying?
not no longer getting carded or being able to show the card when you get grown. But
Yeah, it helps being tall. I'm pretty sure Benji got carded a lot because he
I
he
mean,
was
back then I was listen, I'm only 5'9" now. But back then, back in them days, I didn't think a brother was gonna grow. So but hey, listen, my first purchase wasn't probably in a regular store, okay? I'm
you
just
was
saying,
at the
with my
porn
own
store,
money. My first purchase was
at the porn store.
nah. Nah. It was that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was one of the two. I knew it. It probably was both same night.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Nah, see, you gotta understand, banks boys, we didn't need to do that type of stuff. Ken know about
Yeah, but everybody,
the crew I grew up with.
everybody back then was on that porn, man. It was on porn, blacktail. You was doing something.
There we go. There, keep it real.
I'm telling you, y'all know. I tell y'all about my slip.
That don't mean
but
you
I'm
ain't never stepped foot on that site.
I promise you, I've never been a porn watching type of guy. I never. If you at now, hold on.
As a child, curious.
Hold on. He said, hold on now.
Hold on.
Okay, let me get the hold on. My bad.
Hold on.
Let me get the hold on.
Okay, this is in my backsliding days. But listen, I stumbled upon Pinky, and that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Oh well, I don't even know who that is.
Oh wow!
I praise.
I feel like it's a who, not a what.
Thank God. But I'm just gonna say, now when probably in my late 20s.
You don't know how old you?
I mean, I'm trying to figure out how to get it out there. Late 20s, I stumbled upon Pinky, and yeah, praise God.
Oh man, that man said Pinky, the OG. Shout out to Pinky.
When she wasn't, you know what I'm saying, like thicker than a Snicker, but she was. I'm just saying.
She grew with us.
Right.
She grew with us. You know what I'm saying?
And see, I was never into that because I mean, just keeping it 100, like we didn't. Girls would do anything for us. The place we came from, like we never had that problem. So I'm just saying.
Okay. Shout out to the ladies out there who watching who especially the ones that likes the Texas.
Yes, they remember Cecil. They remember Philip. They remember
you ain't supposed to throw names out there. You name.
I mean,
maybe these people might have told their current wife or whoever.
No, he naming his people.
Yeah, my people.
Yeah,
my brothers. Shout out.
Yeah,
them folk gone, but my folk they know who we were. They know the Banks boys. they trust me.
All right.
Jesus.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, tonight we're gonna be talking about this is episode 138. We're gonna talk about all grown up, and we were having discussions. We come up with ideas for the episodes, and it's a lot of things that we think about on a daily basis that we like. Man, this is not what I expected. Right from my adulthood, whether it be good or bad, it's just something that we couldn't see. Right. I mean, for us, especially now in 2023, so much has happened that I was like, man, like I could not envision any of this as a child, right? I'm thinking, like, especially with the pandemic, I'm thinking that was going to signify the end of the world if we had something like that actually occur. It's like, so for us to actually live through that, that was mind blowing to me.
Right, and I mean, as a grown up, seeing it. Kind of coming through the phases that we've come through, smallpox and what was it? Swine flu. We experienced all that stuff as like adults, man, and dealt with it. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, but
none of them get like.
Yeah, the worldwide thing was shocking, right? Like I can remember when we were looking at the news and we saw over in Japan and overseas, and they were like, "Yeah, it's over here," and you saw people running around with masks on. You're like, "Oh, okay, they're gonna catch that before they get over here because ain't no way it's gonna cross these borders, cross the water, and do all this stuff. Like we gonna be good."
Legit,
and lo and behold, they letting folks in from over.
Lord.
Say, man, you already know folks will come over there, lock them up and quarantine them, you know what I'm saying, for 14 days. Now, you could have just kept that small pocket of people in some type of quarantine somewhere and it wouldn't have never got out, hopefully. But no, y'all wasn't doing that. Y'all were just letting folks in willy-nilly.
That's what made everything so suspect, like.
Yeah, it kind of did, but shout out to the government. We know how they do.
But you know how the crazy part behind it. You know what I'm saying? Create a vaccine, make billions upon billions of dollars, and
we got aliens.
Everybody capitalize.
Yeah, we got aliens. I already kind of figured as a kid when we used to watch the movies and stuff. Like I always believed that there has to be something else out there. And
Roswell.
Well, I mean, in the we live on the Earth, and there are other planets. So, I mean, there has to be something else out there Whatever it is, though, I don't want to see it, and we probably have seen it because I'm gonna tell you.
Wait a minute. You don't want to. Ken. You can't tell me you don't want to know if there's somebody on Jupiter.
I don't want to see it, bro. Like it's
good niggas is probably aliens.
Hey, somebody created a meme and they had an alien in the interrogation room. Like, why didn't you help black folks in slavery?
Yeah,
getting slapped up.
That was hilarious.
Say, man, but I'm telling you though, I think if we were to actually see an alien and it wasn't like something that was close to the way we look. Now, one thing I saw the other day was they were talking about like the creatures of the sea. A lot of those maybe aliens, and you can look at them versus what the movie's showing, and you can kind of look at them and say, okay, that may be believable because when the submarine, when the sad story of the guys in the submarine that went down there and didn't make it back, they were showing some of the creatures that were that were down there really, really deep, and there was stuff that we had never seen before on the surface. Right. Unless you go that far down there, and I'm like, it's a whole nother world below us. So,
but you can't.
What makes you think it's a whole nother world above us?
It's too deep.
That's
what is it? 90% of the ocean hasn't even been excavated.
Mm-hmm.
So that stuff. I mean, listen, the mind. We could get into the God concept, but God is too vast, man. So we'll never figure him out. He's past finding out. So.
Yeah. So, but as a kid though, speaking of the aliens and stuff like that, we watched a lot of stuff on TV that influenced us, and I think that shaped our expectations for what would occur in our adulthoods because the adulthood stuff we saw on TV, the adults we saw on TV, the stuff we saw them doing, and then we figured, when we become adults, we do the same thing or something similar, and a lot of that stuff is like, man, that's just TV, bruh. It ain't
right.
It ain't happening like that in real life. So that's what we want to really just focus in on tonight. I got a list of things, so I had them broken down so we could get to, discuss a few different aspects of it. But I just want to start off with this one question to get this one thing from each of you. Okay, Trisha Michelle, what's the main thing that you underestimated about being an adult when you were a child?
These bills.
I think that's probably the number one answer because on my timeline, that's what everybody put.
Like legit, like I knew it was bills and I knew there was rent and but I'm like electricity bill 1 month be $500. Like, hold on, and then I underestimated.
Now you see why your parents was like, turn them lights off.
That's for real. The realest statement in the world, and that's all you hear is me like, turn the light off. Turn the light off. Like, and my uncle, my dad, turn the lights off. You're not in a hurry, turn the light off. Or shut the fridge. You're not eating nothing. Like, get out the fridge. You're just in there looking. And I'm like, dang, like, y'all extra. But no, they really weren't. Like, shut it. Turn it off.
Didn't want to pay that joint. They knew it was going to be high.
They wasn't extra. That bill was going to be extra.
Facts.
And they knew that.
For real. Like, this summer, this summer, though, hit harder than any summer. When it comes to that electricity bill, that's wild.
Yeah, I understand.
Energy rates don't went crazy.
I'm gonna tell you one thing: I ain't turning my AC down. So
me either.
So you bet not in Texas. You bet not in Texas.
I'm the same. Mine is on auto, and it's gonna run, and I'm gonna just take the hit. But they gonna turn these lights off and get up out the fridge and whatever else is going on because the AC gonna run. So y'all gonna
go outside. Go outside.
I'm not even going out in the 112 and the 130. I'm not sending them.
Well, I understand Terry Crews' character, the dad from Everybody Hates Chris. I understand him all too well as an adult. When he be breaking down everything, that's 38 cents worth of light. Hey, you know what I'm saying? It sounds crazy, but
that's the most relatable adult character.
It may be because in the back of your mind, you be thinking that you be like, bruh, that's $5 worth of food you just ate. And
I be having my moments.
Like, just facts.
I'm Terry Crews, he be in my head. That's 48 cents you just wasted right now staring at that refrigerator and that freezer. And you just closed and didn't get nothing out of it.
Just let my Freon run out the refrigerator. Come on, man.
That's a fact. When you walk around the house now, we always talk about this when we were kids. We didn't have bottled water. We had to get it out the hydrant, or you had to get it out the sink. So now we got bottled water. These kids will crack open a bottle of water and leave half a bottle of water over here, and then have half of one laying somewhere else.
I just
like,
put
bro,
the half
whose
of
water
one
is
in
this?
here. I just put half of somebody's in here. Like who? I literally just said because I don't buy them no more because I get the water service or whatever.
Right.
But they late, so I was like, okay, I'll get a case. I can't stand a case of bottled water for that reason.
Hold on. You said you took somebody's used bottle of water and poured it in your cup?
My son. All he did was
Ooh.
no, he took it and poured it and hid it. So what he's
I
doing,
was like, hold on.
no, he's doing the same thing. So he's filling his thing up.
Right.
He left one like this much out of it just open on the counter.
Okay.
And it's 2 empty ones next to it, like 3 water bottles just sitting there. Mind you, there's always right by the trash can.
No, we got the refrigerator with the filtered water in it because
we got that too.
I ain't wasting nothing.
Yeah, we got that too.
Yeah. I'm cheap, y'all. I promise. I was cheap. So
I prefer the water service. I like it, but when we like this is a once little they behind or whatever I need water bottles for now, and these water bottles are already 24 hours. I'm ready to throw them at kids' heads. Like, because I don't understand.
You better recycle to pay for that water bottle that you just left on the that
you made it to the trash can. Just make it in the trash can.
Yeah, they do. Man. They do little weird stuff, and I laugh sometimes because I wanna fuss at them, but then I think back to my childhood, and I'm like, I was probably doing a little weird stuff like this, a little odd stuff like this, and I just discounted it and was like, Mom, Dad, y'all tripping, y'all making a big deal out of nothing, and now here I am making a big deal out of nothing.
They told us you're gonna learn.
You know what? That's the biggest thing. I think that's the most true thing that, our parents may have told us. Well, you're going to learn when you become a parent. And it's like, man, I'm going to be a different type of parent.
Yeah, that's the one.
I'll say the same thing. Right.
That's the one. I'm not going to parent like how you parent.
Right.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you saying the same stuff they done said to you.
Mama told me that.
Days like have you ever been saying something and then you had to, you stopped yourself like mid-thought and was like, I sound like my dad.
I'm saying the exact same thing he said.
It's the craziest.
And I'm like, I get it now.
Right.
Yeah.
This is what happened.
Yeah. So Benji, what about you, man? What's the main thing you underestimated about being an adult when you were a child?
I would say how valuable having a mom, a pops, or that family system there. Like that's huge for me. I didn't, of course my mom passed when I was young and I had, some uncles or whatnot, but listening at you being fussed at by your aunts and all of that type of stuff about doing the specific things, but not having that mom, that dad around, you realize how valuable, like as an adult, those conversations really are, or that advice from somebody who's walked through it, lived through it, can kind of get you, baby, put your money here. Like if you put your money over here, if you buy this car, you know what I'm saying? If you put, do this and do that, those little nuances, those little things like that, that always hits for me because as an adult, I kind of been able to freelance. You get what I'm saying? Just kind of figure it out as you go. You get what I'm saying? So without necessarily, school or whatever, you had a little guidance or whatever like that. But for the most part, shoot, man, I've been allowed to freelance through this life. And it's dope to me when you can have that dope conversation with a solid parent, solid uncle or whatever that can kind of steer you in. You know what I'm saying? Like I wish somebody would have told me about investing in stocks when I was a young cat. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Because ultimately, I think what affects us the most as adults is, we paying bills, we doing all of that, but there's ways to make so much easy money that we just didn't know about that maybe our folks, did know about, and we don't even know. Like we have no clue because we didn't come from money or we weren't taught about certain things,
Yeah.
That's unfortunately, most of us are taught how to spend money, but not how to hold on to it or how to invest it or how to grow it. So yeah, that's a big one too, because we often talk about the things that we're being taught in school, when we're growing up and all this stuff and how we apply it when we get out. And a lot of that stuff that we were taught, we like, I ain't never used that stuff. I ain't never used no geometry in real life. Like, but they took, kind of like, I guess, what do you call it? Home ec home
Right.
economics. They took that out of school.
Right.
So, you know, that was teaching you at least some type of life skills, how to cook things and how to, you know, take care of stuff at home. But we didn't have a lot of preparation. You know, they need to take some of these courses out and teach you how to do taxes, and teach you how to, you know what I'm saying, invest, and, you know, some financial literacy. Now I know those are available in some schools,
Yeah.
but you know, I think it needs to be part of the curriculum where it's a required class, because it's
Right.
required in life.
In fact, it's
Right?
almost like if you don't have it at home, you gotta search and find it. And coming from where we come from, where you got your advice from financially was from the street hustler. He knew how to hustle, you know what I'm saying, but he didn't know how to invest his money. And it's funny because we was having this conversation at work today, and the dude was I said, the funny thing about how we grew up is out of all that money, nobody put anything aside. Nobody invested in, you know, a restaurant or whatever. You get what I'm saying? Nobody.
Yeah.
It's like, and you look back at it, and what's the issue still today? A money problem. It's like, you know, you still don't know how to spend money most of the time. You just spend it. You know what I'm saying? You don't even know to put it in a stock and hold it for 10 years or whatever. You know what I mean? So like that stuck with me, man, because that's been one of the headaches, I would say, as an adult, for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
that's why it's not in school. That's why they don't. I mean, y'all know why it's not in the schools. Because
Yeah.
Black people and minorities attend these schools. They want to keep the poor and the rich. So why would they put financial literacy in these schools? There are some that you can get, but most of those schools are probably a private school or a school that we're not highly populated. And yeah, so that's why it's not taught. So we have to teach ourselves because our parents weren't taught it, and the street dudes is coming from parents and other street dudes that wasn't taught it. So it's just a constant cycle of zero financial literacy continuous. So we learning and we teaching ourselves, and hopefully we're gonna break the cycle.
Facts. I mean, it's starting to trend in a different direction, because we got some dope brothers out there creating some dope platforms, man, where you can go. Shout out Ian, the master investor, and Earn Your Leisure, and them cats like that, man. Them guys is putting out some information, man. If you sit and listen to them dudes, man, it's solid. So
shout out
glad
Wall
to
Street
see it,
Trapper.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Wall Street Trapper as well.
Right.
Like you said, that's a lot of good content out there.
Yeah.
So if you know, if parents, if you're on IG, look up those people. If you got kids, tell them to look them up, because I know they're on IG for sure.
Facts.
So, you know, sometimes you just gotta mix a little bit of righteous in with your ratchet. It's okay.
Facts.
You do. You got to.
You do.
A little sprinkle.
A little sprinkle me, man. Sprinkle.
Yeah. So I think you know, the bills and everything that Benji said, everything that Trisha Michelle said, I totally agree with. And I think another thing that I think I kind of underestimated was not just the bills, but how much things actually cost. Right. When you're a kid, like, you see your parents buying cars and things like that, and houses, like, you don't understand that this house is $100,000. Right. You don't understand that car is $40,000 or $50,000. You don't understand that. So
the gas you got to put in it to get to work every week, every 2 weeks.
Nah.
Well, I mean, you know, you can find, you know, one in. Well, no, you can't. I feel say
you can't even do that there. That's about 3-4 right now. About 3.
Right. Facts.
Well, it's stuff out there that's attainable, but again, you know, it's about being educated in these different areas to know who to go to and what processes to, you know, to go through to get it right. And I think that's where a lot of people fall off at, because sometimes it might take quite a bit of digging to get the right information or to get on the right page with what you're trying to get accomplished. But you know, people get tired, they get burned out. I guess, you know, with us living in a microwave society that we live in, like, everybody wants instant gratification, or they want things results fast.
Yeah.
So anything that takes an extended amount of time, they're not willing to do it. They're like, just throw that away.
Yeah. Well, that plays into your parents not giving you stuff right away when you ask.
Facts. Yeah. And I think
because if you don't teach your kids that this stuff comes at a cost, most of the time they're gonna go out in the world and think the same thing, for sure.
Yeah, because that is what they think. I'm gonna go to work, I'm gonna get a job, and I'm gonna be able to buy whatever I want. And then all
that's
of
what
a sudden,
we thought. That's what we
Yeah.
doing.
And you find yourself working for $5.75 an hour.
You go to work, you get a job, you get these taxes taken out. You ain't got enough to get what you want. You gotta wait till the next check. Like,
Right.
Well, yeah, you gotta tell these kids. Like I had to tell my sons, when they got out of high school, when they got their first little jobs, and tell them, hey, you're gonna have something on your check called FICA. You know what I'm saying? And you're not gonna know what it is, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be on every check. And
every.
the one thing that you don't have to have on your check is that you're up. So if you're not careful, you're not careful in life,
Just that child support, huh?
Yeah, that your sup is gonna end up on your check. So
Right.
if I were you, I would be very careful because FICA is gonna take enough for everybody out of your check, right?
Just facts.
And I think, and when I first got my first job, I didn't know, right? My dad didn't tell me nothing about FICA, so I was hot. I was hot at 5th grade. I got my little check. I'm like, as kids, we know, okay, if I'm making $8 an hour, I'm doing the math. I already counted up how much my check is.
Did 80 hours.
First day at work, you calculating already.
Hold on. I done already spent it. I done already spent it before I got it. Because I already know what I'm buying, right?
Right.
And then when they hand me that check, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. What? Who is FICA?
Oh, look, after you, let me tell you what my niece thought. Because she just reached adulthood. She just got her job. She went to work. She's been working for a little bit. And my mom told me this story. So, mom, if you're listening, my niece probably ain't listening because, they too cool sometimes. But so she goes to work. She was sick. She didn't go to work for a few days. She get her check. It's not, the math ain't mathing to her. So she talked to my mom. She in the background like, I'm about to call and I'm going to go off because they didn't pay me my full check and blah, blah, blah. So in her head, she thought I'm supposed to get paid 12, 13, however much they make now, dollars an hour for 80 hours a week, regardless.
Right.
She said, where is my money? For her 3 days that she missed, she was ready to go to war. And my mom was like, I know you're not talking about the days you didn't go to work. The little generation, like she really was upset. She was ready to go to town for her money. But you got to work for your money. You got to work to receive this. She was ready.
She didn't have no sick leave, huh?
Yeah.
Nah, a lot of these little jobs, you ain't gonna have no sick leave unless you really got some, some benefits. These young kids, they be accepting jobs, looking at the money, and that's another thing. You have to explain to these kids. Well, when you accept your first job, especially coming out of high school and college, especially when you got a job, and they have some benefits, you need to have a conversation with these kids about what benefits they should be looking for, right?
Yeah. Right.
Because some of them just taking jobs looking at, okay, I'm making this amount an hour or this amount per year. But even when you break it down per year, I've had to explain to different, young people that, okay, say for instance, if the job offers you $100K a year, but you're basing it on an 8-hour day. But if they have you working 12 hours a day, the math ain't gonna be mathing, right? You're making less than what you calculated. So is that $100,000 a year job really worth, what you're doing? Because maybe you could be working somewhere else, making, working less, but making the same amount, so on and so forth. So those are the type of conversations that we got to have with our kids because, I'm not saying that everybody's parents did, because some people's parents did, but a lot of our parents didn't because, they didn't have that conversation from their parents. So they didn't know they were supposed to tell us.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I literally just had that conversation with my daughter in the car because there was a post on Instagram that said, I don't know if y'all seen it. I don't even know if maybe it might. No, I don't think it was one of y'all that posted it. It was the amount you need to make per year in certain states. So California said one person needs to make $80,000 a year to live survive. And everywhere else was like 40, 50. There was a little sprinkle of some 60, but we had 80. And so I'm explaining to her, and she's like, oh, okay. So she asked, like, how much do I make a year? And so I'm telling her, and then I'm calculating. She's like, oh, okay. Like, so you okay or whatever. I'm like, well, let me go into taxes.
Right.
So I said, this is this. But before, then I'm calculating, not sure. I said, now. And she was like, I said, they take out taxes. They take out, all these different things. And so she was just sitting there like, why is California like that? Like life hit like real quick. She was like, we need to move. But it's
Like we
those
need to get up out of
conversations.
here, right?
It's those conversations that you have to have, because at the end of the day, I work for Kaiser. I don't even pay for medical insurance because I don't have to. But that's
Right.
another thing. So you find a job where, say, they don't offer that. You to get Kaiser, one of the best plans is almost $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
So like it's well with you and like your family members. So it's like you got to factor in these things when you take these jobs too.
Yep.
If are you taking this job because it pays more, but now you got to pay for benefits here out of pocket, or now you know this or that, and they don't. You got to have these conversations with these kids when they're doing stuff, because they're gonna run for the money. Then they're gonna get that check, and when they all growed up and find out that that check ain't checking.
Well, some of these kids are hotheads, and they think they got that independent mindset, and they think they can go out and do it on their own without the knowledge. And you go out there and life get to slapping you left and right. You know what I'm saying? So some of them, they can only learn with that bought experience. So
you let them run into that wall.
Right. I had to teach. I explained. It's funny. I was having this conversation today because, like, my daughter, she has the grandbaby and all of these types of things, and so now she's in school. She's doing it, and I was like, baby, like, I don't mean to say it like this, but when you were living with me, you had ample opportunity to do all of these things, and like I was saying to you, all of these things, like, get this stuff squared away while you're 18, 19. If you're doing something productive, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here. I got you, right? So now she got to get up at 4 a.m. She got to catch the bus. She got to do this, and half her day is spent just trying to,
traveling,
get to school and get to here and get to there. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, hey, you chose to go the route of, doing it completely on your own instead of, you know what I'm saying? Like, taking the more feasible route. And it's like, I'm here to help you now, but I'm gonna let you walk this grind. Like, I'm gonna let you see what it's like. So sometimes that's kind of how you have to deal with it.
That's the only thing that my son listened to. He's still here, but it's only because you better be doing something, because living right now ain't smart. Like, build your foundation.
Right. Yeah. And that's my thing. Like, you have that space, build the foundation. Like, do something while you're here, because we ain't just sitting up letting you do nothing while at home all day and the bills is running. Yeah, no, we don't live that life. We don't do that.
I think that's the hardest part, though, of, we talk about, the expectations when we're growing up. We didn't understand that when we grew up and be parents that it would be this hard to, when you have a child, especially that, graduates from high school and they're out in the world, whether they're in college or working, they're going to have some struggles, right? And that's one of the hardest parts of parenting, to watch your child go through something and you can't do it for them. You have to let them go through that so they can understand life for themselves, right? Because you can't keep, coddling them and trying to shield them from everything. At some point, they got to go out into the world.
Facts.
Right. And I think we didn't understand that, because, like, when we used to go out places and your parents be worried, mom be like, well, where you going? When you coming back? We'd be like, man, you tripping. But we didn't understand the danger that we were going out into, because, we were kids. Everything was so fun. We didn't understand the danger that was waiting for us.
Right.
So, I think that, that's one of those things that's underestimated when you're a kid, because listen, if you don't have kids, parenting is hard. Yeah. It is not for the faint of heart, for sure.
I think the other part is they feel like, or some people will say as they get older, or they think, this is when they get older, it's easier. They're older now. I promise you, the older age, high school, I feel like I walked across that stage. I feel like I did so much. Like, we got it out the mud, me and him. Like, he was a headache. Like, but it's, as a kid coming up, not even thinking, like, when I have my own kid, because when they be like, watch when you have your own child. Yeah, watch when you have your own child, because, like,
yes,
it's serious. You
be ready to get them joints back.
And you are going to be raising little miniature yous, whether it's the good side or the bad side or the blended. You're gonna raise a miniature you.
That is facts. I literally sit and watch my son be like, this kid is exactly like me. And it's crazy to see it, like, but in a pure state. Like, my baby boy, my Joe, it's like the purest state. It's every time I see it, it's dope. I'm like, that that should have been me at that age, that pure, like
Yeah.
that mind, that idea, that concept. And it's just beautiful to see in that pure state. Like it's like I value it because it's like, man, that's how it was supposed to be. But
Right.
it's crazy when you think about it, because yeah, you are raising a mini you. It's like he thinks like me, acts like me, walks like me, talks like me. I'm like, man, this is crazy. So I love seeing it though.
Yeah, and I think that's an important piece of it too, to be able to recognize the missteps that you had and be able to
Yeah.
point them out for your children.
Facts.
And even if they're not listening, you have to at least share with them, because as I often say, as kids start to transition, I had to have that conversation with my boys about the difference between dad and Ken. We two
Right.
different people, right? When I'm at
Right.
home, I'm dad. When I go out into the world, I'm Ken. And at
Right.
some point in your life, when you start to get more into an adult aspect, you're going to see more aspects of Ken than you are dad at points, because you're becoming a man. So
Right.
I'm going to have to talk to you as a man.
Right.
So that that view you had of dad might change a little bit, because the conversations we're gonna have to have is gonna be a little bit different when 25 versus 15 or versus
Yeah.
5. The conversation is gonna be way different.
They grow
So
up with you.
right, well, yeah, for some of us that's actually true, because I had my first child at 20. So
Yeah.
he literally, like, as I grew and I learned things, like he was growing up learning things too. So I've had to even explain that to him, that there's some things that we probably missed just
Yeah.
because I
Right.
didn't know, because he was our first child and we're first time parents. Like, we don't know.
Right. Right.
We're just doing what we saw done for us. So was that
That's the trial and
everything?
error.
Yeah. Was that everything? No.
No.
We gonna miss some stuff. So don't expect perfection from us, and we don't expect perfection from
Yeah.
you.
From you. Right.
Right. So we understand that it goes both ways, and there's gonna be some turmoil there, between the kid and the parents. But hey, that's life, man. You just have to learn how to work your way through it.
Facts. I
Yep.
agree.
So, all right. So I got some categories that I put these expectations into. And we gonna break this down. So I didn't put them in any certain order, but one thing I was laughing about was, when I was a kid, I thought that when I would make my own money, that meant that I could go crazy at the grocery store, that I could go crazy at restaurants buying any type of food I wanted, because that's what the overall thing was, right? You got your own money, you can go buy whatever food you want, and the food is gonna taste amazing everywhere you go. And
That's another one.
right. So,
Ever been to a restaurant and bought something and it was trash,
bruh,
And now
and you paid your money for it?
bruh, right? And you didn't learn that as a kid, that you would go somewhere and eat and you couldn't get your money back because you already ate it, even though it was nasty. And you was like, oh man, but you know what? Some people still don't understand that concept, and they go out and they act a donkey when they go out and something isn't right. And I get it. Something isn't right. You want your money's worth, but some things are just
Yeah.
too far, right?
Right.
So you got people in restaurants trying to fight the wait staff, trying to fight the manager. I've seen it all. And I'm like, these are supposed to be the upper echelon establishments. Like, now you see why on some of those TV shows where they say, oh, you got to have a reservation, or these are for members only. Like, you were like, what are
Yeah.
they trying to do?
They
Man,
trying to weed out the bullshit.
they trying to weed out some of these people that, what I'm saying, I ain't going to necessarily say don't belong, but some people just really don't belong.
They just not ready for that experience.
Exactly. They ain't gonna
Yeah,
act
you
right.
know what?
And I'm into tossing people out. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because it's certain things, like growing up, that we was look at caviar. That was on every show, right? That was
Yeah.
like the thing to have. And when you get older, you're like, oh yeah, let me go ahead and
try
get some of that caviar, right? Man, I ate some of that stuff. I was like,
you don't like caviar?
yeah,
So you must not like oysters neither.
nope.
No. So I like all that. I just don't want
Okay, I
caviar.
just want to make sure, because oysters is fire. I like caviar. You spit some etouffee. Like, listen.
Well, see, now that's different. Now, how many places is doing that?
Not too many. You know what I'm saying? You gotta
Exactly.
find
So
it.
you gotta like. That's another thing as a child when you growing up. You like you said, you think everything's supposed to taste good. It's really not. You really gotta find and
The right,
go
yeah.
find these food spots that's gonna give you what you're looking for. Not
Right.
everywhere and not everybody know how to cook. Not and just because they got a
That is
restaurant
facts.
doesn't mean it's good. Like
That's facts.
there's a bunch of things that, and then some of these restaurants, the chef does not allow modifications, substitutions, or any changes or additions to their foods. There are their plates, especially when you go to the. They said no, you're gonna order it as it is, and you're gonna eat it, you're gonna experience it, you're gonna love it or hate it, and don't come back if you don't. But as
I
a kid, you
never
don't
Facts.
know that.
I never thought I'd see the day that places like McDonald's, we were kids, McDonald's was like it, boy. Like
Yeah.
I never thought.
It was a luxury back then. We didn't go all the time. We went. It was like a treat. We went ever so often.
I
McDoubles or double cheeseburgers was 50 cents or 89 cents or something back
Yeah,
then.
that's a whole. But see, that's the thing though, right? Like the stuff was good, and I never thought we'd get to a day where I'm like, you know what? Somebody asked me something about McDonald's not too long ago. It was like, when the last time you had McDonald's? It's been years.
Years, bro. I can't eat it.
Taco Bell, it's been years.
Yeah, I can't.
Literally would be craving cooked food. Like I don't want no McDonald's, Del Taco, Jack. I want.
Hold on. Del Taco, we floating with the French fries. I'm just saying, I'm a French fry guy. I'm sorry. I'm pulling up to Del Taco for the French fries. I'm just saying.
But I mean, the burritos and all this other stuff. It don't make me want to. I'd be like, let me go cook. As soon as I think about something fast, I'll be like, never mind.
Listen, man, you learn real quick as an adult. Your body can't take that stuff every day, man. It's got all kind of salt. It's got when you're young, man, you can eat that McDonald's and go burn it off in like 3 seconds.
Oh, but, you know what my mom used to say? Because I used to eat like crazy. I used to always eat. I was an athlete. I was always eating. And I was like, she said, watch when it catch up to you.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I was like, this woman crazy. Shoot, my metabolism on fire. We good.
That stomach don't hold it as well as that large intestines. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm talking about weight. I'm talking about weight. That weight ain't just floating off every time you eat.
Well, just like any fire, after a while, that fire gonna start dying down, and it's not gonna be burning as hot as it was before. So, yeah, your body changes. We're gonna get to that. That's on my list because that's definitely the way that your body works at 40 is not something that you're thinking about at 16, right? Absolutely you're not even thinking that far because really and truly. When you're 16, 40 is old. So when I'm at the court or when I'm at the gym or when I'm out different places and the young dudes be like, hey OG, hey school, I'd be like, who they talking to? Oh, that is me.
Talking to you, Doc.
That is me.
You're the uncle now.
Right. So that is me, man. And that's another thing. Like I never even thought that far. Like I thought that far as what I want to be doing by that age and things like that. But to really sit here and think, what am I gonna be like at 40? Like I didn't even think about that
at all.
Right?
Hey man, I wasn't even sure I was gonna make it. So I wasn't even thinking past that far. Like,
that was true. That was true. I think we had a show about that a couple seasons ago where we, as men, especially as black men, we all at some point thought we wouldn't even make 21.
Yeah. Right.
So, to make double that for some of us, it's a blessing because like the stuff that I think the stuff that happened to me at 19 kind of really turned the corner for me because I got pulled over like by Lancaster PD probably about 20 times in 1 year. So it was crazy. I never got a ticket, but it was just what I learned what racial profiling was. And we ain't gonna dive deep into that today, but when people say that's not a real thing, it's definitely a real thing.
Definitely real.
Right. So even with me being a fair-skinned black man, it was definitely a real thing. I was in a candy blue car with chrome rims and braids. So I fit the description.
You was giving off black.
Yeah, I fit the description. So when people say that, they fit the description, I fit the description. So, it was things again that we my parents was trying to tell me, my dad was like, turn that music down in that car because you're drawing attention to yourself already. I'm like, man, you can't tell me nothing about that, man. Because when y'all was young, y'all didn't have all this, so you don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, so the last time I got pulled over, I had to call him. I got on back then. We had these cell phones, so I had to call. I had to get the little payphone at the little
payphone around the corner.
At the stop and go where they pulled me over at, and I called him. I said, "Dad, they pulled me over again." He came down there and talked to him. We went down to the precinct. I never got pulled over again, but I learned what racial profiling was that day.
Right.
But again, things that we don't think about as kids, that we just venture out into the world, and here I am going to McDonald's that day, get some McDonald's. Just coming back to the crib with my McDonald's and my snow cone, and I'm about to go home and eat and enjoy myself, and that happens. So
and I think that's a crazy experience to have to share with your kids, because TV shows have kind of shown us depiction of that. I remember there was a show, Family Matters, that did one. Carl and Eddie, his son was racially profiled, stuff like that. I mean, that's pretty crazy to think that as an adult, our folks knew it was very, very, very possible, and then when it happened, how they handled it kind of gave us a blueprint of how to do it now, if it ever takes place. But it's crazy that you actually have to think of that and consider that for your kids, that they could actually be racially profiled just for walking in the store.
Yeah. And see, they don't understand that, right? Because my sons were quick to tell, my oldest son was quick to tell me, well, Dad, things are different now. I'm like, that's the same thing I told my dad. Things are different. And he told me, nope. You know what I'm saying? He always says there's nothing new under the sun.
Facts.
Right. That's one of the things he always says. So I honestly believe him now, and at 43, and I try to pass that wisdom on to my sons. No matter how many things change in the world, the very essence of what happens in the human experience is at the core the same.
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to experience some of the same things, no matter how much has changed in society. So, those are things that we try to help our kids with. But it's one of those things where some of the stuff, they're going to listen, and some of the stuff they're just going to have to experience.
Right. What's another thing? What we're taught in school, the history that we were taught versus when we get older and we learn, that's something that was different too.
Right. Because it's an identity thing. Like we were taught, slavery, but when you really research it, right.
Oh, there's more.
Right.
Oh, this story is really this. Oh. So I think that's a whole nother one too. We learn how deep that stuff really is.
Yeah, Malcolm X was one of those things too, because Martin Luther King was all over the textbook, and Malcolm X got a paragraph.
Right.
And as a kid, we didn't understand that. We just thought that because Malcolm X was a bad guy and Martin Luther King was a good guy, right? And that's kind of how they shaped your thought process until my mom gave me the book, The Autobiography of Malcolm X, and I read it, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is not the dude that they're showing or that they're talking about in the history book, because they make him seem like the bad guy.
Right. Well, because now we know his image was that he came from pimping and doing all of this kind of stuff. And they didn't want to put, how can a guy doing all of that turn around and then have this great image now, when they just wanted somebody, that looked clean and crisp to put out there. And it's amazing when you research the history and you find out, like, one was converted and the other one kind of did the same stuff the other one did, even while he was, up ministering and doing things. So it's kind of interesting when you look at the whole dynamic of it,
Yep. So, I mean, speaking of that, the transition between the two and what they were doing, what I'm saying? The next category I have up was partying. And both of them were some party type guys at certain points in their lives.
Facts.
And, just like with us, we used to go to a lot of parties when we were young, and now it's like the parties we go to are far and few between. And if we do go, they ain't the same type of parties that we was going to
No.
when we was younger, right? They're more laid back, more chill, So the expectation of parties as a young person was like, man, every party I go to as I get older, especially as a kid, was gonna be like house party, right?
Yeah.
I had these visions of when I got older, when I became a teenager, when I became a grown person. Oh, I'm going to those house parties. It's gonna be dancing. It's gonna be women there. It's gonna be drinks. Oh man, I can't wait. And yeah, it was only maybe a couple of those here and there, but they all weren't like that for sure.
No,
Right.
I turn up. So we used to spend the week planning for the weekend, and we was at all the house parties. We was everywhere. But them house parties was funky, packed, and full of unsearched individuals that sometimes ended in certain things happening and people running to their cars. It was a very unsafe environment that we planned all week to be in, which made no sense as you get older. And then you get older and it's like, I don't even want to be anywhere where anybody 18 is at. As you pass up 20, you don't want to be you don't want to be nowhere.
I ain't doing no wild.
Like, I don't want to be nowhere where they're at. Then you get to another age, you like, I don't even want to do all that. Like, I want to go enjoy the music and the drinks and stuff, but I just want to sit back and chill and whatever. So it does change as you get older. You ain't trying to turn up all weekend, and then you can't. Because your body ain't going.
Body be like, look, you need to go home and go to sleep.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about me though is even around my brothers, my cousins, everybody was around. Everybody was clubbers, but I didn't like the club. I actually, because this used to turn me off. Even at 20, 19, 17, 18, 19 years old, we go in the club. Everybody, all the dudes looking for the finest girl in the club. And if it's a few of them in there, they all trying to hit on the same fine girl. And if something go wrong, some smoke about to pop off. Every club I went to, there was some shooting done. And see, that messed up my high. So if I was high, like, and I heard some bussing, like, I'm trying to enjoy my high. And I'm sitting up here and dudes is bussing over a girl. I'm like, man, I'm finna go home, dog. Like, you going to the club? Nah, man, y'all can go have it. Like, I'm straight. I hated that. So I always like my exclusive atmosphere. You gonna pull up on, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, pull up on me. That's what we're gonna be. Just me, you know what I'm saying? Whatever.
Yeah.
But other than that, I was like, man, I hated it because it never failed. It was always some bussing going on. And I don't need nobody messing up what I just paid for to get myself to that elevated level. So I'm straight.
I think that's also kind of what changed for me, man. Like I used to like going to parties, but I started to notice a trend as we got older. There was always some fight or somebody getting into it at the party. So I say, as a young person, I always thought about house party, but house party quickly turned into a scene for menace to society a lot of times, of boys in the hood, because it's like, man, it's always somebody in here with a gun, somebody trying to fight. And then, the fight going to spill over into the outside, and then somebody going to go to their car.
Somebody going to get hit in the head with a bottle.
Somebody going to say, yeah, man, go ahead and pop the trunk on these boys. And and I'm not trying to be involved in none of that. And, of course, in traditional fashion, I was involved in some of that, right? Like, I wasn't the one shooting, but I was there in places where shooting occurred. And multiple times I almost got shot myself, and I wasn't even involved with the chaos, right? Just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. So again, those instances where your parents are trying to warn you about these things, my mama say, don't go over there because you already know what's over there. Nah, mama, everybody over there cool. They ain't gonna do that. And then lo and behold, shooting. And then she's like, see, told you. I told you. I'm like, man. But it happens.
I mean, but we did used to have a couple parties at the crib, but yeah, we got to keep those exclusive.
Oh, but my thing is, if you got to go with your crew and talk about your exit strategy, and
like in advance,
like, and have a code word or whatever to get Like that, you don't belong there. And literally, I recall a party we went to where we had one, and it did occur, and we had to utilize the. I mean, it's good we planned it, but why do you want to do that? Man, I definitely was one of those that look. You go to those places, even if you start stuff or you don't, because I don't, but I did definitely have to fight.
I'm sure, you know what?
I'm starting
what I'm starting to find out about you is you fight.
I'm gonna fight. Like
right.
See, look, let me tell you, I was there with someone else, my two homegirls, and I hadn't really been out in a minute. I'm way younger still. But so I'm chilling, but she got a lot of enemies. So I'm the pretty tall, whatever, taller, because they shorter. So who you gonna hit first?
Nah, they're going for the pretty girl. Definitely, you got to make an example out of her.
I'm chilling, and I get
and you get stole on.
I said
you got chin checked.
Oh yeah, I turned around, and that was it for her.
I mean, you better have to put them hands there.
And then I stopped real quick, went in the mirror, and then went right back to fighting.
and see, you know what's crazy? My dad used to always say, my dad, shout out to him, man. That's my OG. He give me a lot of good game. He used to always tell me, if you got to take a gun somewhere, you got to plan on taking your gun with you, then you don't need to be going where you're going. Yeah. Right. So, that was a rule of thumb too, because I mean, when I got of age where I could carry a gun and I bought a gun, he was like, man, if you got to be carrying that pistol everywhere, then you probably don't need to be going where you're going. Fact. So, I understood that too, because I mean, I got out the scene, I all that clubbing and stuff like that early 2021. Right. Like I was done. And I mean, I think I may have gone to a strip club one time in my life, period. Right. And
I've never been to a strip club, by the way. Never.
You ain't missed nothing, man. Not in my estimation. Not in my estimation.
I ain't got no. It's okay, Patricia. I know you posted a couple times. You've been at the little function. It's all right.
But see, you know what? As a kid, I thought all parties was craziness and drinking alcohol. Right. And I thought alcohol was the most amazing thing. And when I got older, I wanted to do it too, until I saw a lot of people in my teenage years getting drunk and adverse things happening to them. So I was like, nah, I don't think I even touched alcohol really until I was like 27 or 28, man.
Now, see, it's different for me because I grew up around the winos. So I used to hang out with them on Bear Street, Ken, right there down by Big Daddy's, because, we lived at 2521 St. Clair Street, right down the street from Bear Street, right? Yep. So I used to hang out with the winos, and they used to always give me a little hit of, you know what I'm saying? They, Thunderbird, Night Train, or whatever, right? So I grew up drinking that, but I never have been drunk a day in my life.
Me neither.
I like having my drink. I like having, my drink in my hand. I will, I will sip. I will take a couple or two, I'll drink my drink, but I ain't never been drunk a day in my life, but I know how to. And it just, I saw the winos on the corner all the time. And as a young kid, I was like, I never want to be that dude hanging out on the corner with some Thunderbird, drunk as a skunk, talking up the wazoo. But I learned a lot of game from them cats down there on the corner. And so I was like, I just never want to be drunk, because I don't ever want my vision impaired by anything. If I feel like it's impairing my vision or my mood like that, I don't want it. Like I've always been that type of dude.
Sometimes as kids, though, we don't realize what all alcohol fully does to you, because we'll just see the person that's drunk, that's just staggering around, and they funny. Like, we laughing at them because they're funny as a young kid. So we don't want to think too much bad about drinking if we ain't really been around like something like real bad like that. So then you get older and you drinking, you want to get drunk, and then you get drunk and you like, I don't want to feel like this ever again in my life. Like
until you get better. And then you go back to
you don't keep trying to reach that. You don't, because I know
some people that do though. That's the crazy.
I did it twice. Once was on accident because I had got my wisdom teeth pulled and I forgot they gave me Vicodin. And then I went to a pool party and was mixing clear and dark, and was in a jacuzzi.
Out of the fish grease, she hot and she tipsy.
that night was bad. Oh, it was so bad. And I don't even think I was 21 yet. Like, which was also bad. So no underage drinking, y'all.
All kind of red flags.
It was red flags everywhere. And then the police came to shut it down. And I'm like, that I was blackout. That's blackout. I seen nothing. Eyes open, I seen nothing. Like nothing. I could just hear. And so luckily I was around my peoples that had
no
me.
wonder you'd be fighting all the time.
No, I don't fight all the time.
You know you was drunk when you can't see no more. She
done
drunk her vision away.
I'm over here
trying to hold her eyes up.
Like
there's no water in your face
because I was trying to throw up to feel better. Right, and then I remember hearing this dude like that I knew say he needed to use the restroom. I said, I can't see you anyway, so go to the bathroom. Like I can't see you. But I really couldn't see nothing. I couldn't see nothing. Dang. Like it was bad. Now my second time, I was when I turned 21 and I was supposed to be
just turning up.
And then everybody at my birthday dinner just kept sending drinks, and it was at least 20 to 30 people. And even the bar, like the manager came to like my dude, which at the time was my daughter's dad, and was like, she's not driving, right? Because they kept sending me drinks. When I got home, let me tell you.
Yeah.
I was hugging the pillow. I had the window open right above the bed.
Did you ever have to make a visit to the toilet and laying on the toilet?
No. That's to me. That's I can't because still in my head that's nasty.
Right.
Like I don't. Yeah. It's nasty. I don't want to be the person like laying there hugging her. I don't know. It's nasty. Yeah. My mind won't let me. Like it's nasty. I could go throw up, but I'm out. I'm not in there hanging out till whenever. I'll have a trash can by me, but I can't lay by the toilet.
Now, I know a lot of our parents have some experiences that they have not shared with their kids because we know as youngins, we were wilding out a little bit out there, you know what I'm saying, from time to time. So, in some of those spaces, we got to apply a little bit of grace with our kids, but hopefully they don't get into nothing too wild, too crazy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But
I think that's a good statement. Actually, we don't realize how worried we make our parents, when we are going out at this younger age, until you have your own out, and we gotta let them go out and hang with their friends, but at the same time, like.
Worried all the time.
Don't do nothing stupid. I raised you good, but still don't do nothing stupid. And you can't control other people, when you come back, or where y'all at, like all these other things, but you're not trying to be like all overbearing, but at the same time, like I get it now more like, dang, I really probably no, I wasn't there. They weren't. I wasn't there. I didn't drive them crazy when I was about going out, but I can imagine like the parents that do
how they felt
when they when they're younger, how they felt when their kids are out and gone, and just hoping they made it back.
Yeah, you just hope that you give them enough game for when they go out. You know what I'm saying? They know the do's and don'ts. You know what I'm saying? They control themselves, because for me growing up, like I saw too many pissy drunk people, right? I saw that side of people getting drunk and people drinking. So that's one thing that made me not want to do it, because listen, I'm a big guy, and if I get out of control at any way, or any form, you can't hold me back. You can't contain me, right? Like if I get loose, I'm getting loose. Right. So I don't know who else I'm gonna hurt, if I'm gonna hurt myself, so on and so forth. So I just never wanted to put myself in that situation, and that's kind of what kept me from doing it. And I told my sons the same thing. I'm not saying you all not gonna drink or whatever you're gonna do, but just make sure that you understand that whatever you're doing, out of our supervision, you're putting yourself at risk. You know what I'm saying? Because you hope that your friends, that are with you are gonna have your back, or gonna watch you, gonna look after you, and vice versa. But sadly, a lot of these kids are just like, oh man, he messing up, I'm out.
Or they start recording you. That's the new thing.
Very true. Now they record you nowadays. And what's crazy is kind of back to my point about having the parent, around. Like again, we kind of grew up. I grew up freelancing. Like my folks ran the streets. So for me, running the streets was like the thing. You get what I'm saying? So like we it's crazy to think about it that I don't know. I was never able to ask those questions to maybe my aunt as when we went to live with her, how it felt that we was actually out there running the streets like them, or if they even really thought about it or cared about it, because they was out in the streets, they was running the streets. It's like that's the life like I saw. That's what we grew up in.
Yeah.
So it was the streets, like everywhere the streets, any place the streets. So. And that's interesting. But when I got to California with my aunt, I was 19, 20 years old, and I had an 8 o'clock curfew. Wow. I couldn't go. They wasn't playing no games. Like they was like, you need to be in this house by 8 o'clock. If you ain't, the doors is locked.
Cool. Well, that's pretty simple. That's pretty
right.
simple.
And it was like, I was like, what?
I would like some shelter. I would like shelter, so I will be here.
Look, there's no gray area there.
Right.
Gotcha.
But I'm used to running the streets and wilding, and here comes, you know what I'm saying? Now, rules. They well off. There's rules. There's regulations. There's consequences. There's all of these things which I done learned for the first 19 years of my life, and then here comes that space in between 19 and 20 where it's like rules. And I'm like, 8 o'clock?
You're like, what is those rules?
I'm like, 8 o'clock? Like, we don't even get up. Like, I don't even go to bed till a certain amount, and we ain't getting up because we didn't work. I didn't get up to punch no clock. So we was in bed till whenever we wanted to get up or whatever. We dictated our day around what it was going to be like in the streets. And most of the time, streets is the nighttime is when, you know what I'm saying, we breathe. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that was like the thing. And to come out here and experience that, it was a culture shock. It was, I was like, this is crazy.
To go from raising yourself and no rules,
Yeah. To instantly, like, and it wasn't like a cut, like you had a couple times to like kind of wild out and do whatever you want to do. It was like, don't have them girls calling my phone because this is 97 when we had still had the house phone.
Oh yeah.
Don't have them girls calling my house. And I'm like, what? Bro, like we couldn't, like it was crazy. So to go from that to under them rules was kind of a trip. But I will say it was probably the best thing in my life that ever happened to me, because I'm alive today because of that shift from Texas to California. So
and I want to kind of transition from kind of that to when we brought up the friends and things like that and how they play a role in the expectations that we had and expectations that we have for not only our children's friends but our own friends. And one note I have for the social expectations is most of us thought we keep our childhood friends the rest of our lives, right? When you're growing up, your best friends, when you're children, you're like, man, these are gonna be my boys forever. You know what I'm saying? These are gonna be my homegirls forever. And then as you get old, it's kind of like, dang, right? People change. People move away, those type of things. And that affects your life, you know what I'm saying, in a negative and a positive way, because sometimes you have people, like I've had some of my best friends move to different areas and, lose contact. And then you reconnect with them years later, but you don't know their life, in that space that you all weren't together. So now you're hanging around with this guy, and this guy been into some other stuff over the years that y'all wasn't together.
Folks literally thought that. Folks thought I was dead when I left. Like when I popped up on social media, it was the funniest thing. Because nobody knew where I went, what happened, what was going on. And I didn't pop up on social media until like 25, somewhere around there. So I had left and nobody knew where Benji was at all, except for some family members or whatever. But yeah, it was funny because I still remember the exact day, the time, the moment. And folks was like, is that Benji? It was like, it was crazy because nobody knew. I just disappeared.
We definitely thought you were dead. That was the word on the street.
Right.
So we were like, dang, man, hate that happened to my boy. You know what I'm saying? And then lo and behold, he appears on social media. And that's funny too, because it's like, as kids, we didn't have no idea that there would be some way of us talking to somebody through the computer.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, us
Now,
as kids.
yeah, now there was a song by Roger and Zapp called Computer Love.
Computer Love, right.
And we didn't understand. We sung that song and we jammed that song. We didn't understand that song would actually become real, would actually become part of our everyday lives, that people actually are falling in love over the computer, over a device.
And just a fact.
That's crazy.
Or what the computer can do for you in your life. You love what it can do for you. So
I think a lot of them songs we didn't know what we was listening to until we got on.
Oh yeah.
The music.
You remember we talked about that. We talked about that on a few episodes ago, where we were listening to a lot of songs and we had no clue of what they were talking about, and we were repeating the words verbatim.
Exactly.
Jumping around, skipping through the front yard, singing the song, and
hey, yo, I remember one time because we grew up crazy, man. My uncle called the house one day, and we had the whole, like, you could put your little voicemail up on the phone. And man, we had Luke Skywalker. We had 2 Live Crew praying on that joint, man. It was like 30 seconds before you get to leave your voicemail. And man, we had Doodoo Brown on that joint, man.
Nice. Your voicemail was lit before you leave.
But see,
yo, it was hilarious, man, because like that's the music we listen to.
But that's funny, because back then that song and the content of it was taboo. Now it's regular.
folks done evolved in the wild, in the wilderness, huh?
Hey, for real. Like the stuff that we were listening to, the songs became actual life, right? Like that stuff was taboo for us because we didn't have access to it. So people in Hollywood and people with money, when they came up with that song Computer Love, they had access to computers and software and stuff like that we didn't have any clue of because we were just regular people. And you know, of course, when that song came out, we were kids, so you know, we didn't have any clue what it was. We just knew it was jamming. So you know what I'm saying? But
Doodoo Brown.
Yeah, because when that song came on, I didn't know what Doodoo Brown was. I didn't know what they was talking about until years later. I'm like, whoa.
See, that's why. The women we used to hang around, they would school you on what it meant. So I always knew what Doodoo Brown mean. I just was never going back there to do that. Like it's like, yeah, I'm good, but I'm gonna bump this song though. But you know what that mean? You know what they talk about? I'm like, no, and they would school you, and that's where having women in your life, they kind of help you out. But we didn't care. I still ain't doing it.
Hold on, but speaking of Doodoo Brown, right? That was I think our exposure to what I'm saying, what we're seeing now with the fascination with big butts. That started that kind of wave of what I'm saying.
Did that come out? Did that come out before? What's his name? I like big butts and I cannot lie.
It came out. I believe it did come out before that. But, that era is where we became fixated with, what I'm saying, big butts. And now, what I'm saying, like, of course, that's everything.
Has there ever been an era where there was no fascination with?
I mean, I can't lie.
Even
as a youngin', you know what I'm saying? When I saw 80s, Buns, I loved
most of the 80s, it was different. Like, they just wanted a woman that Coke bottle shape. They wanted, some little curves. But she didn't have to have no, as we would say, badonkadonk, right? She didn't have to have no big butt. She just had to have some, a little bit of butt, right? So it became like, nah, that butt ain't big enough. I want a bigger butt.
So that song came out after? I don't know.
That song was like late 80s, early 90s.
I don't know.
Both of those songs were like late, I think like 89,
I want to say
90.
Late 80s, yeah. I
89, 90, somewhere in there. Yeah, okay. But my thing is, I mean, like 70s, well, nobody looking for that. You know what I'm saying? If you had it, you had it.
So my whole existence, all they've cared about is ass.
Well, yeah.
I mean, yeah, you
what year were you born? What year were you born?
87.
Yeah, so by the time you came to know anything about music, it was 90s, and that's what everybody was about then. Yeah,
I like big butts, and I
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
but that's what I'm like. Has there ever been a time when not in my time there hasn't? But okay.
I mean, like
80s.
I said, I always liked cakes, so
I think 90s and before, and I think a lot of times the expectations for what you like is predicated upon what you see, right? What's
Yeah,
around you.
that's true.
Like the women in your family and their friends and the people they bring around, those are your first exposure to, you know what I'm saying, the opposite sex. So
you
that's
know
what
what?
you expect.
You know what, Ken? I want to say this, and I hope this comes off right. All right, but
Uh-oh.
I remember one of the homies telling me my aunt was fine. And I didn't know how to feel about that because we grew up together. And he
That
was
don't
like,
matter.
I know, right? But see, that type, you get what I'm saying? Like, imagine, like, because one of my first homies when I came to Lancaster was Desmond Brown, Charleston's brother. So
Yeah.
Desmond Brown was one of my first homies, one of the first dudes I met in Lancaster. And I remember one day he was like, man, your aunt fine, man. Like, and I was like, hold on. Like, I didn't know how to feel at that moment. So as a kid, I'm like, how do we process this, man? I just like, man, watch out. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't know how to process that at that time. But that's a real thing. Yes, please ask him. Please.
Because I've heard him a few times, like, man, I stalk you. Don't
Yeah,
even
but
say
see,
it. Like, don't even
but
say
see,
it. I've heard him like, don't even say it.
No. Think of it as a 14, 15-year-old, though.
Yeah.
So about what, like 3 years ago, right, Patricia? Your son's what, 18?
He's 19, yeah.
19.
Yeah, but you gotta think about it though, man. You know, he's saying your aunt is fine. You're looking at somebody else's aunt saying they fine.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I mean,
you
the
know,
honesty behind it all is y'all just doing what y'all do.
yeah,
Right.
you're attracted to the opposite sex. So
Right.
it just is what it
As long
is.
as you're not trying to bust auntie down. I mean,
but you know what little boys is thinking, though.
I mean, I know,
Yeah.
but
you know what I'm
He just
saying?
said auntie was fine.
A fine woman, I don't care how old she is, because I was always attracted to older women. So the thought process is like, can you imagine an 18-year-old hitting on a 40-year-old woman? 40
there's a thing that was just out.
Yes.
She waited until the boy became 19.
Yes.
And she waited. And I don't know what age he was since she was waiting. I think it was either 14 or 16, one of the two. She waited until he was 19. Mm-hmm. And now they are just happily, you know. And I think she's like 40 something.
Right.
And that's insane.
It's crazy. But he's
But what is this 19-year-old outside of that? Because he still don't even know that.
Right.
Like, what is this 19-year-old?
You think he don't know that, though?
You don't. At 19, you didn't know everything.
No, you didn't. But we're in a faster
culture. You didn't know everything. You did not know all that needs to be known within this bedroom.
Man,
I know.
Talking about 19. Some people 39, 49 and still don't know it all.
That's
so
we grew up pretty fast, though. We learned.
It don't matter how fast you grow up. You think you know, but you have no idea.
I mean, I want to say this. If you grew up around certain girls, the girls taught you the game. There was a lot of mannish girls. I know we were looked at as mannish, but we ran into some girls that taught us
groomers.
Stuff.
You ran into groomers.
Unless they were older women, like they weren't teaching you nothing
yes.
more than
I ain't talking about no 18, 19.
You talking about older women. That's his
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I ain't talking about no 18, 19.
So you're talking about groomers. He's
talking about R. Shelley's. He's talking about the R. Shelley's in his life.
R. Shelley.
And, you know,
I like that.
R. Shelley. That they're doing.
And
my thing is, she had to keep in touch with this child in some type of way, following him, something like to finally like, okay, hey, 19.
Right. We call that back in the day red shirting. You know what I'm saying? You give somebody a red shirt until they're ready for action. Right? When you go to a football team in college and you're not ready to play yet, they give you a red shirt until you are ready to get on the field for action. And so you remove the red shirt, and usually that's a sign that, you know, he or she is ready for the game. So
ready to go.
You know, yeah.
Green light.
So
I mean, hey, yeah, that's things we learned as kids that we.
I think that's another thing. Growing up, when you reach a certain age, you just knew. Once you get ready to get to doing it was gonna be everything. But you realize once you get older, you got a lot to learn.
Well, yeah,
Facts.
and it's ebbs and flows to it, right? Not every experience you have is going to be the most amazing, right?
That
There are
too.
going to be some experiences that are subpar, that are, that
It's
are
gonna be like that
subpar.
meal that you went to go eat at that restaurant and you was pissed off that it was nasty.
Yeah,
And
just like
on top of that, if you didn't know what your pullout game was, you ended up with a youngin.
well, I mean, some people weren't taught the pull out, so
Yes.
they
Some
didn't know any
people
better.
didn't care to utilize it.
Well, yeah, I mean
Very
because
true.
I mean they didn't
Yeah.
know, they didn't care to
They still
utilize
don't
it,
care to use it nowadays.
but
Yeah.
here's the thing, just like Trish Michelle said. Just like Trish Michelle said, you go to a great restaurant and what I'm saying, the food is not what you thought it was gonna be. It doesn't taste
What
the
you eat?
same. The same thing goes for women. Some of y'all don't taste the same, and we didn't expect that.
I knew
You know
Yeah,
what
that
I'm
was coming.
saying?
we
We
smoked a sack of you and your
see
strand wasn't selling good.
see. Here's the thing. We heard about it, and it was something that what I'm saying. We hope that one day we will reach a point in our lives where we will be able to apply some of this stuff that we had heard from
Learn,
our
yes.
big cousins and
Yes.
brothers and people around us, and
Especially them phone conversations
it
that
just
I
didn't
heard.
turn
Yeah.
out the same way that we thought it was until much later. Then we figured out, what we were supposed to do. So, life was
Especially if she
just
was pretty, Ken. Especially if it was like that girl that, you know what I'm saying, you was trying to get, you get what I'm saying, and then you gotta, and
Benji
Well, see,
had that
here's
experience.
the thing.
Benji
So
had
a
that
lot of
experience.
these girls grew up.
yes, bro.
A lot of these
Listen.
women, look, they grew up without the education of what they needed to know, so they didn't know nothing about pH balance and all these other things. So they just letting y'all go
Ding, 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 ding,
come
ding,
on
ding.
in, and y'all like, yo, like,
Well, well,
she ain't got no clue that there's a lot of upkeep that you're supposed to be making with the kitty cat, pretty cat.
The factamundo.
and
Because, yeah.
but here's the thing, though. While we're talking about that, and you're talking about, our attraction to certain, things when we're younger, right? And the body expectations is something that we don't, take into context where not only our own bodies, but the bodies of other people,
Other people,
right?
right.
So, I mean, we thought when we were younger that we would have flat stomach and abs and good knees forever. You know what I'm saying? And and that just ain't the case. Just like I used to think that when people had acne when we were in high school, I thought when we became adults, like that would just magically disappear. Luckily for me, I was one of the people, I never had acne. But I know a lot of people who did, and they still got it. And we 40. I'm like, what happened? I thought that was
Adult
supposed to
acne is a
I
thing.
thought that was supposed to go away. But adult acne. But I mean, these are the things that we did not think about, right? We did
Yeah.
not think about that girl that we saw in high school that was shaped amazingly would get older and have kids and be shaped differently, or that
Yeah.
guy who used to be the most amazing football player and had the best body would get older and not work out every day, and his metabolism is much slower, and now he's the fat guy, right?
Right.
We didn't expect any of that,
Right.
but it's reality, right? And it's like
Mhm.
you look back at it, you're like, man, did I think that I was gonna look the way I look when I was a kid? For me, especially no, because the height I am now, I couldn't have told you that I was gonna be this. I don't think nobody had predicted that I would be this tall when we were kids.
Right.
Period. Right? So the way I look now is a total shocker. If I was to go back in time and see myself looking at me, I wouldn't pick me out of I wouldn't pick me out of a crowd. Right.
Listen,
And
I
say
just
that's
wanted
how
to
I'm
know
gonna
if I
look.
would grow because it was a struggle. Like I thought I was gonna be short. I'm
I
still
think
relatively short, but yeah, in junior high school, man, it was. I think I was four something.
Whew.
I was short.
Yeah, that's pretty short.
Yeah, that's pretty short.
I
But
think
I was still on the football team, Lancaster football team. And I
doing
remember I
what?
used to, girl, you better recognize the
No,
33-5 option reverse. I was
Doing
a
what?
beast.
Doing what?
Basketball and football. I
What?
played
What?
both.
The
It was
Okay.
really
basketball?
good.
Okay. Football though, doing what? Which position?
I was a starting wide receiver.
Okay, so
And I had plays ran for me galore. I wasn't no slouch because I was
Okay.
small.
so
now.
Trisha Michelle, let me explain something to you. At that point, I think there were 3 of them there were 3 kids that we had that we grew up with that were all the same height and all the same size when Benji was during this time. We had Benji, we had Robert Jones, shout out to Robert Jones.
Robert Jones, the
and we
shortest dude of us all.
and we had JJ Richardson. Those 3 guys were about the same height, but they were great football players, amazingly. So they were really fast. So they got the job done. So he's telling the truth. Like
I believe him. I just wanted to know what position. I was just okay.
I was starting, and I remember one year I was going to go out for quarterback. Quarterback was my passion, but Michael Smith, Ladarius Chambers was pretty good slinging that rock. But Michael Smith, tall behind, who was in high school, 6 feet something. I was like, man, I ain't finna go out for no quarterback.
I was about to say, you weren't gonna win that one.
I had an arm.
But they need a quarterback that could see.
I mean, I wanted to so bad. I'm and to this day I'm still mad because I still remember it impressive. I'm still mad that I didn't go out for quarterback. But I was a dope returner.
You probably would have the same results. That's okay. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, everything's happened for a reason. Exactly.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, I want to pivot a little bit to your job expectations, right? When you were a kid and the amount of money that you was going to be making, right? I think we all had that dream job in our head and we were going to make this, this amazing amount of money. And we had this idea of who we would be dating, what kind of house we buying, and what kind of kids and all this stuff we have. And so Trish Michelle, give me an idea of, as a kid, young Trisha Michelle, what did you think you will be doing as far as working, money, your house, your relationship? Like, talk to us about that for a minute.
Because the women definitely got this mapped out in their head when they're younger. They got it mapped out.
Thanks to Barbie and her dream house.
Man, I'm telling you. So I was going to be a registered nurse. I was going to specialize in pediatrics department with the little newborns and whatnot. That was my thing. That's what I was going to do. That was my passion. I was going to be married by 25, 2 kids, a boy and a girl. My boy was going to be older than the girl. I do have the boy older than the girl. Could have been married by 25, decided not to be. And house-wise, it was just like a nice little picket fence. I was going to have a little Yorkie dog running around. I have that. The nurse thing I didn't do by choice. And I actually went halfway. I was done with the prereqs. I had 1 class before, and then I realized that's not what I want to do. So that was my little map of life,
Okay, Benji, talk to us about your map of life. What did yours look like? That's an evil laughter.
He said he was Big Meech.
Listen, we were supposed to be pimping and run. We were supposed to be pimping and running the block because that's all we. I'm just telling you, that's all we talked about. And I don't want to put my folks' business out in the street, but when I left Texas, they made that a reality, and that's all we knew. I will admit that I always used to say I wanted a girl who didn't smoke weed because I smoked weed. So I didn't want a girl who smoked weed. I liked clean girls. I've always liked clean girls. Like that was my thing.
I hope so.
I'm meaning the girl who came from a different lifestyle than mine.
Oh, you mean clean? You mean innocent?
That innocence type girl, that girl that kind of came up.
He wanted her to be wholesome.
That's it.
Yeah. Not wholesome. Wholesome.
Whole. Not wholesome. No. No, she need to have a little. She need to have a little hole in. Okay. I'm sorry I say that. But, in the sheets. Facts. But my in that space, I always thought that it made no sense to me, even at a young age, to have a chick that's with you but doing the same thing as you. Because even as a youngin', I always thought that makes no sense to me. Like I needed somebody outside of because I always wanted that because we grew up watching the Cosby Show. So I was always fascinated with that. So Felicia Rashad has always been like my, type of chick. Like if I ever met a chick, like she had, shout out to my lady, because that's who she reminds me of, right? So, but that's always been like the thing for me. But for me and like the space we grew up in, it was running the block, running the set, um, doing all of the stuff that we said we were going to do. And again, family carried that out, you know what I'm saying? But I was fortunate enough to kind of get away and see a different lifestyle, see two people hustling, working, mini mansion lifestyle, 3, 4, 5 cars, doing whatever they wanted to do, go whatever they wanted to go. And that's always what I wanted. I just never seen it unless it was way across the track somewhere. And some of the women that I were attracted to, they had 2-parent households. So, but their daddies was always like little punks, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me go and mack your girl, man. Like, I like your daughter, you know what I'm saying? So it was always that concept. So, but I mean, yeah, we were supposed to be hopping out of limos and pulling up the functions, and the bank's name was supposed to be in lights, and you were supposed to know who we was no matter where we was, where we went. And that's kind of how I envisioned it as a kid. So
Okay.
So for me, it was weird because I became fascinated with certain types of TV shows. So I knew I wanted to be rich, right?
right.
Because I was blessed to be around. I have a few cousins in my family that played in the NFL. So I saw that lifestyle. I saw what it looked like, firsthand, to ride in nice Porsches, to live in big houses and things like that. So I experienced that. So I was enamored by that as a kid. So I was inspired by Richie Rich, Scrooge McDuck, and the show called Silver Spoons, where they had
Oh,
big houses, toys and infinite supply of stuff. So I really thought that I would be rich. I thought I would be living in a 10-bedroom mansion.
Okay.
And the reason why I had the 10 bedrooms is the 10 bedrooms because I wanted to have between 8 to 10 kids, right? So everybody had their own room and their own restroom, So I had this stuff in my mind, but then I started to, when I got older, I started having kids, and I underestimated how much kids cost. So when you get to having kids and you get to understanding, okay, how much it takes to actually, you know, provide for this child and raise this child, then you start doing the calculations like, I don't know. The
10.
eight to 10 looking real 3 or 4ish. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Like at tops. But
right,
that was my expectation, right? And that's what my life was gonna be. Of course I'm not rich. You know what I'm saying?
right,
My life ain't over. Still got time to accrue some stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
I know now that the value that I was placing on money is not what I should have been focused on. I should have been focused on what am I passionate about and
Mm-hmm.
pursuing that passion, because pursuing the passion is what would make me that, what I'm saying, that wealth, right? Because that's how you get to wealth. You don't get to wealth by just doing things to make money. You get the wealth by pursuing a passion and being
right,
passionate about what you're actually doing to be able to get you to that point. I didn't understand none of that, right?
right.
So, I'm thinking I'm gonna be flying all around the country and in the world doing all this amazing stuff, and then you get older and you fly somewhere and you're like, man, I thought what traveling was gonna be fun. This is hard work,
right,
right? You gotta book tickets, you gotta find a
Right.
hotel, you gotta walk around when you get there, and then you get home from a vacation and you're like, man, I'm still tired.
You need a day to
right,
rest. You need a vacation from the vacation for sure,
right.
always.
Because
Right.
you go out and you do everything, and you're like, oh shoot, you spend as much energy on vacation as you do when you're in town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you really went out to go relax somewhere. Like you half the time you're trying to go make the most of your time and experience that location that you went to. So when you get home, you're like, damn.
So there's a lot of
Right,
things, in that aspect. There's a lot of things that growing up that I had these grand visions of stuff that I wanted to do, but I just didn't
Mhm.
have the idea of how I would obtain it. Number one, and when I did obtain it, like how do you keep it, right?
Yeah. That's the
Because
part, keeping it.
that's a big
right,
part of it too. So those are things that I think as adults, now we see what it takes to attain something and keep it. right? So we see
different type of lesson for sure.
Yeah, because getting it ain't the hard part.
Right.
Keeping it is the hard part.
Right.
Right.
We could get money. It's amazing. It's crazy how much money I've seen in my time. And it's crazy to think that how easy it is to get money, but it's you really got to focus on keeping it or making something with it, because it's gone. It could be gone tomorrow. If you go overseas one trip and everything you save for like 6 months, if you ain't careful, it's gone in a few hours.
Gone real quick.
Facts.
Yep, that definitely happens. It's like I said, it's just something that we learn along the way, man. And it's full of life is full of lessons, and we definitely have to, kind of refocus ourselves.
I think another thing we didn't pay attention to was that car that we got that we didn't realize. My dad, I realized because I was the little tomboy, so I know my dad was changing brakes and changing oil and changing spark plugs. But some, when you get older, didn't realize there was such thing as car maintenance.
Now, what woman is thinking about car maintenance?
Let me tell you, real life, I changed my own brake pads and rotors and stuff when I was 18, 19. I called my dad like, so what do I got to do again? Right. I really was on the phone with him and changing my brake pads and rotors. But I used to. I'm my dad's other son. I'm my dad's other son.
Right. So he treated you like, you know what I'm saying? I want you to know everything.
I was learning things too, fixing. But that's actually a lot of my sisters are like that, especially my little sister too. We get under the hood.
Right. Now, see,
that also comes from not having stuff just given to you, because
you had to work.
Got this car. This all I got. I didn't figure out how to put it back on the road, and I ain't making this much money. So what I got to do, Dad?
See, I grew up around my aunts and some uncles, so I got both sides of that. But for the most part, I was taught how to take care of an entire house.
Yeah.
So I grew up in a space, right, where you knew how to do this, how to pay bills, how to do this, how to do that, how to cook, how to do all of that stuff, how to, so that's kind of the space I grew up in. So that's natural. That's easy running a house for me, because I was taught by some of the best who knew how to, you know what I'm saying, run a whole entire household. And that's how we grew up. You know what I'm saying? So your upbringing can be very beneficial to how you progress in life. So
absolutely, because I cook my tail off.
Right.
Thank you, Mama.
I saw you the other day with, what was them egg rolls? What was them?
The buffalo chicken egg rolls. I also made hibachi here at the house, and it was fire.
Oh, them crab cake egg rolls is coming up.
And you were telling me about that.
It's fire. So
I'm gonna ask y'all this before we get up out of here, man. So, we're talking about the car, buying a car earlier. And I think people didn't understand purchasing cars, right? We often joke about these little what we call tote your note places. And people, utilize those places to go and get cars, but they don't understand that it's a reason why they'll let you have a car, even though your credit's tore up and the interest rate is crazy high, and they just want to get into a car. But have you all in your adulthood, have you ever fallen victim to anything that's predatory like that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Not knowing it for sure. It was matter of fact my first car. Not knowing anything about them places, I'm like, oh, okay, like I could go get this car up here. It's good, it's cheap, but it ain't even cheap once they finish throwing all that stuff all over it and fees and just all the stuff that goes on top of that. You locked in, and you could have had something else if you would have went to the lot, and it would have been different. Like, and who knew about going through your credit union and all these different things? Like, it's you don't know, so you go to the little lot around the corner that got the car, and then you got 130,000 miles on it and didn't even realize that stuff. So yeah, it happened to me. Broke down times, and I'm still paying for it.
I mean, listen, I can tell you about a whole bunch of predatory stuff that I can't say on this show. Yeah, I'll just say this, man. Like we came up different, and it was wild. It was wild. I saw a lot of stuff, man, that I was like, hold on, like, you mean they folks really doing that? And it was a lot of it was amongst family. Family was doing weird stuff. So yeah.
And see, luckily for me, I was one of those kids who kind of leaned on my dad a lot. Even though you go through some points as a young man where you and your dad bump heads and you're on separate pages, but like I would call him anytime I was going to do anything, make any big purchases, anything like that. I would call my dad and say, "Hey, Dad, run this down to me. What am I supposed to do?" Because I bought my first car and I had cash. Went and found me a nice car and had cash. I think the car was maybe $7 to $8 grand. I was gonna pay the people $7 to $8 grand and just roll out with the car. And he was like, "Nah, no, don't do that. Go over to the credit union, open up you an account, put some of that money in that account, and then let the credit union purchase that car. And then you pay the credit union, $200 a month or whatever on your car note, and then you build yourself some credit." At the time, I'm like 22, 23, so I didn't have any idea, but luckily for me, he gave me the game on that.
Somebody,
yeah. So I was able to get my credit score, up and get my credit going because I chose to do that one thing that was a difference maker. Now, buying something with cash isn't always bad, but when you don't have any credit, right, you have to establish it at some point, and that was my start to purchase that car, and and it helped me tremendously because I ain't gonna lie to you, I had some shaky credit card situations that what I'm saying, because I was just young and dumb and didn't understand it, that I had to recover from. But being able to have, like Trish Michelle said, use of the credit union and things like that, helped me tremendously. So shout out to Pops for giving me the game.
Right. Yeah, I didn't learn about money management till I got into my late 20s. So yeah, we just spent money. That was it. So it was
I would
crazy.
say late 20s too, and I got my son right now at the credit union. Yeah,
right.
Give them the food and fruit that they need, because you learning it, pass it down.
My uncle got me a checkbook when I got out here, and man, I thought that was a free for all. And I promise you, like, yeah. So yeah.
Let me say that's one thing I always said no to when I opened my account. Do you want checks? Nope.
Yeah.
Nope, because I just knew
Benji was writing checks, and them checks was just like us, on fire, baby.
You are right about it. I remember calling him one day, and he was like, I was like, "Unc, like I niece." He was like, "I ain't got no money. Like, what you done did?" I was like, "I done wrote too many checks." And man, I wasn't writing checks for like no $1, $2, $3, man. I was like,
do it. You if you go hit them,
right. I mean,
that's why I said no to checks. That's what I knew me. I said no. I don't need checks, ma'am. Thank you. I don't need those. We don't need those. Don't give me those. Because don't let me be down. In the next hour, I'm gonna be up.
I had no idea. I just thought at that time, the bank was giving me access to their money. Nobody really, like, I didn't even know how to balance a checkbook or anything like that. And I'm like 20 years old. I don't know, like, we didn't have direct deposit, so we got our little check. I didn't know about no bank account, like, because I never did that. I never deposited. Yeah, like, no. Everything we did was cash. Like, we wasn't doing none of that, right? So when I came out here, it was like, are they really? They gave me this? And then when I wrote the first one and it went through, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh. And so that was, so I had some hard lessons.
You see that? That's why I ain't get no checks.
Right.
Hey, Trish Michelle was on some Wakanda stuff. We don't do that here.
We don't do that. I was like,
we don't do that here.
With this dude?
Yeah.
That was 25 years ago. So thank God.
Yeah, thank God for change and evolution in our lives. Well, We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, y'all.
For
Trish
sure.
Michelle, talk to the people before we get up out of here and let them know something.
You know, growing up is growing pains, but
Right.
all I can say is just everything that we learn. Give yourself grace, forgive yourself. Don't be hard on yourself because we weren't taught a lot of the things that we're learning now, and give those people grace because they weren't taught the things that we're learning now either. But just if you got kids or gonna have kids, pass it down to them because they're, and we're gonna have them hard head kids. Let them run into the wall. They'll be back. But
Right.
just it's life and life going life. But everything happens for a reason, and don't forget we always got God. So stay prayed up. All right.
Facts.
And y'all can find me on Instagram at Trisha Michelle _YT. Also at the Fiyah Session, all platforms. Make sure y'all subscribe because why not? We on fire, and this fire. This is just gonna keep getting bigger. And yeah, you find me on what is that? Why did I forget right now?
TikTok.
Tickety tock.
Tickety tock.
Tickety tock. Same thing. Trisha Michelle. Just search. You'll find me.
They'll find
Google me, baby.
Google me,
Google
Chuck.
me, baby. You crazy already. Benji Banks, talk to the people, my guy.
Hey, man, listen. If you got solid parents in your life, listen to them, man. Like, I don't care. They may be annoying. They may seem outdated. They may not know social media and all the songs and the stuff or you might think they don't. But listen to them, man, as much as you can if you got solid ones. And even some of the, off the wall parents, they got experiences, man, that you can pull up on, man, that are going to be valuable when they are gone. Use it while they are here. But I'm telling you, man, some of the stuff that my uncle tried to teach me at 19, 20, hard head Benji, didn't care Benji, like them lessons are ringing true, like right now, more than they ever did back then. And I thank God for it because it's given me, I still hear this man's voice throughout my day sometimes with direction. And to me, that's dope, man, because he's been gone for years now. But the game that he was dropping, running a household, treating a woman a particular way, all of those types of things, man, those things are, man, they're so valuable. I promise you they'll be beneficial to you. So pull up on that advice, man. It's great. You can find me. Link is in the bio. The wine is still popping. We're still doing everything at BRB4701. We don't switch to just giving y'all good information out there on the Instagram because we're about to do a whole little flip marketing wise and start pushing more of the products and stuff like that. So you'll be seeing less of the funny from me on social media and more of marketing of products and other people's products. So we're going to use the platforms, man, to kind of promote and boost and get people exposure and market their stuff. So that's the process we are. So go look for us. We there, Fiyah Session, all of that. We coming with it all, man. So we're going to be the one-stop shop for all of it. So.
Facts. Benji say he pulling back on the funny
to
give you more about the money.
Factamundo.
Already.
I laughing and broke. I understand it, but I mean, I need you to have some ends so you can pull up to the function.
I ain't gonna lie though, when we was young, we was laughing and broken. It was kind of fun. It was kind of lit though.
It gets you through the broke times.
It does
lit, though.
Like you need some laughter in your life to get through how life will life. You need it.
Yeah, it's kind of lit though.
But if you got you a big booty girl, she'll make you laugh all the time. I promise you.
I mean, hopefully, if she wipes well.
Yes. I'm just saying. Find
Trish Michelle. She's like, I'm not involved in that.
I just was about to, and I said, you know what?
Just go on. Go on. Get the people what they need.
In the words of Dick Gregory, you going out these women with these big old butts, ain't nothing back there but a bunch of doo doo. Shout out to OG Dick Gregory. Rest in peace, my guy. Brought so much knowledge to the world, man. Facts. And changed the game. Yep, and we appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight, man. Y'all know y'all can catch me at Big Ken's Comedy on IG, Big Ken's Comedy on Twitter, Big Ken's Comedy on Facebook. Y'all can catch the Fiyah Session on all social media platforms. Just type in FIYAH Session. We'll pop right up. Make sure you go to the YouTube page, hit like and subscribe, hit that little bell to get the notifications. Every time we post something new, we go live, new content. You're the first ones to see it. You're the first ones to check it out. And we appreciate y'all every week. We tune in. We have an amazing time. We have a great time. We appreciate the people who tap into the comments. Y'all keep us going. Y'all say some amazing things in the comments. So keep them coming. And even if we don't display them on the screen, we definitely go back and read them and try to reply to them. So we want to show y'all that love and appreciation for supporting us. So make sure y'all tune in next week. We got another live episode. We're gonna be talking about some astrology, y'all.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be interesting because I'm not a big astrology person, but I think
gonna be Libra season when we do that?
Everybody's seems to be enamored with it, so we're gonna talk about it. So y'all tune in, and we're gonna have another great conversation. Again, y'all know we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Y'all be safe. Have an amazing week. We see y'all next week. It's the Fiyah Session. Peace. Thank you for joining us today. Please follow us on all social media platforms. Just search Fiyah Session.